Well, this is a real joke in time. The Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister is doing what we call a balancing act. That's according to some experts in Trinidad. And they're warning that for any meaningful progress to be made, the Prime Minister must adopt a more conciliatory tone and demonstrate the humanity and humility needed to rebuild trust and reset strained bilateral relations with Venezuela. Well, let me tell you all something. A relationship unbalanced long time. I don't know how quick she'll be able to balance it back. Because if I know the Spaniards, you'll take a long time to rebuild trust. You understand what I'm coming from? Off balance since you say you don't have a problem with the Americans blowing up, killing people illegally in waters. You're off balance since you said that you will give Trinidad and Tobago to the Americans to use as a launch pad if Venezuela foments any war with Guyana. You're also off balance when you said that this Caribbean is a zone of peace. Or it's just a dream of people talking about zone of peace. Well, that ain't no dream, my friend. It means that states are not fighting against each other. So there's a zone of peace if you don't know that. So all these political scientists and experts are saying that she's trying to do a balancing act. I wish you well with that. Well, we have another problem here because the warmongers in Washington, D.C. are now saying to us that they've called off all talks with the Maduro regime. They want him out. They have no time for dialogue. That is done. Trump ended that. So you had some backroom talking going on. But now he doesn't want that. He wants the oil. So all discussion is off the table. So that means war is on footing. See, when I tell you all to prepare yourselves, get some grains, store some grains, get some drums, get some water stored up. Anything can happen. Bombs can fall where they're not supposed to fall. War doesn't stay in Venezuela alone. Very sorry for a lot of people. Why is not staying in Venezuela alone? They're already tangling up this internet that we have in the Caribbean and data. Sometimes you can't get it since this ship come through the region. Different islands been having problems like Jamaica for 2 and 3 days. Had it in St. Vincent for a while. Antigua problems there. Y'all don't understand the seriousness of war, Y'all don't understand it. And I have to bell the cat every day. Bell it. I have to do it because nobody else ain't doing it. No regional government ain't doing it. So we have a problem. So the warmongers in Washington say they want the oil and they want Trump out. So all discussion off the table. They want to set up their puppet government so that they can get what they want out of Venezuela. Next story. Because this thing getting deeper by the day. The next story is that Russia has now entered the whole foray. Before I get to that, let me just say Trump has stopped diplomatic discussions with Venezuela. That's what he's saying, according to the New York Times. And the outlet cited officials and claimed Trump has closed the door on negotiations, potentially setting in a motion for military action against the Maduro government. According to the report, Richard Grenell, the special presidential envoy who was leading talks with Maduro, was informed on October 2nd that all diplomatic contact must stop. So this is not Venezuela stopping the contact, This is Washington saying, me having no more discussion with you. That done. Time for war. Time to get you out there inside. Well, Russia has entered the fray. And the Russians are saying that they had a phone call with their counterpart in Venezuela who offered Russia full expression of support and solidarity after the strikes in the Caribbean. Lavrov said that Russia strongly condemned the strike by the U.S. armed forces on October 3rd on a ship in international waters near Venezuela. You look at the dates that are going on here, I wonder if you're paying attention to the dates. On the 2nd of October, the U.S. says we're not going to have any more discussions with Venezuela. Means war. On the 3rd of October, Russia is telling Venezuela, we are giving you our full support in the context of what is going on. I understand that Venezuela is now placing air defenses around the entire country. Russian-made air defenses. This thing ain't going to be nice, It's not going to be nice. War does not happen in isolation. It's not in Venezuela alone. It will be in our waters. People don't get it up to now. So when I see these scrape heads back in Washington and their foolishness, they have no idea what war really is. You all have a good day. You all have a good day now.